Grace, peace, and mercy from God our Father and the Lord Jesus Christ. I just want to read this article and read a little bit more, dealing with what the who people misname or call philosophers. Okay, the Beta Israel. Who are Ethiopians, who understand that they are the children of Israel, and many of them have gone back to or gone to Israel. They had different campaigns back in the day, taking them back because they were persecuted so severely in Ethiopia. I just want to read something here that this was on Black Agenda Report, and it says. It's, let's see, shocking decline in Ethiopian Israeli birth rate. Okay? Now, make the distinction that these people are claiming, I want to say something, Beta Israel, they're claiming, from my understanding, that they are descendants of the children of Israel. Okay? Like through lineage. Okay? And they use Menelik and, some do, and, they have other theories, but I just want to read this. It says, shocking decline in Ethiopian Israeli birth rate. The birth rate among Ethiopians in Israel decreased by a dramatic 50% in the last decade. An Israeli journalist, Gal Gabai, I'm not sure if I'm saying that correct, wanted to know why. She investigated the use of vacuum. Her documentary series on Israeli educational television, and she discovered some things that left her very uncomfortable and will surely leave others equally so. Educational television posted Gabai's 25-minute report titled, Where Did the Children Disappear To? On YouTube on December 6, 2 days before it was scheduled to air on Channel 23. In her attempt to find out what the story was behind the shocking statistic, that's 50%. Gabai interviewed Ethiopian women immigrants and learned from them that they were given Depo Provera, a contraceptive injection containing the hormone progestin, administered once every 3 months against their will. While some did not understand what the shots were for, others felt pressured into taking them in response to alleged threats that they would otherwise not be allowed to immigrate to Israel. The shots began in the refugee camps in Gondor, okay, that's in Ethiopia, continued in the transition camps in Addis Ababa, it's also in Ethiopia, so Gondor is where they lived at, largely. Addis Ababa is obviously the capital, and continued on after their arrivals in Israel. According to the women's testimony, this continuity appears to have been a coordinated effort between the medical staff at the clinics in Ethiopia, run by the JDC, and doctors in Israeli hospitals and clinics. The women, it seems, were never given proper planning counseling outlining the various birth control methods, nor were they given the chance to choose the one which they felt most comfortable, with which they felt most comfortable. What were they given? The clear message that life would be very hard for them if they were to have large families in Israel. The shots began in the refugee camps in Gondor, continued in transition. I already read that. Some of the women interviewed said they were told that birth control pills were not suitable for them because they were not capable of remembering to take them daily. Okay, so I'm not really getting into the issue of birth control in the sense of should they be taking it or not. But what I want to focus on particularly is the push to thwart their reproduction. Okay, I wrote a book entitled "Killing Black Innocence." Okay, and it's Killing Black Innocence, the program to control African American reproduction from slavery's end to the present day self-inflicted genocide. Okay, I know it's a long title, but what I'm talking about in this book is, since we've been here as so-called African Americans in this country who are the children of Israel, our reproduction, they have tried to control our reproduction. They bred us like animals during slavery, where you actually had stock men, or men of robust build who were, big, who the slave owner wanted to have many strong slave babies. So they took one strong slave and used him to impregnate women. Okay? I've even read accounts of, I document in this book of accounts of men who actually, you know, those slave masters who wanted mulatto children would actually hire college students to sleep with the slaves, women. Okay, so you had that at the end of slavery. Then, you know, after you had that, you eventually had those who wanted to thwart our reproduction. Okay, but I mentioned Beta Israel in here, and I just want to read that. Okay, so this is in the notes. This book has well over 100 references. It's only about 120, 24 pages, but it has well over 100 references. I just wanted to read this one, dealing with Depo Provera, because it's been used on us as well. Depo Provera has been used to limit the birth rate of black populations around the globe. For instance, the apartheid government of South Africa used Depo Provera to significantly curtail the working black population. Mobile clinics traveled through the countryside providing birth control, while free injections were offered at many factories. Often women risked being fired if they refused the contraception. A study in France revealed that of female birth control users that used Depo Provera, only 4 were French born, while 15% were Algerian and 20% sub-Saharan women. This was true in spite of the fact that African women were up to 2 times more likely to request another type of contraception. So this is something being done amongst the black peoples around the globe, period. Similar disproportions in Depo Provera between the Ethiopians. So that's what this article is talking about. Okay, I have this here in this book. Similar disproportions in Depo Provera between the Ethiopians and Israelis living in Israel are evident. During the 1980s, approximately 90,000 Ethiopians were immigrated to Israel under the laws of return. Today, they face extreme discrimination in the areas of employment, housing, and education. There seems to be an unwritten government policy to decrease their numbers. It is estimated that although the Ethiopian Beta Israel community are 1.75% of the total population, according to the data from Planet, they make up 57% of all Depo Provera users in Israel. So that is why they have, where all the children gone. Why, what happened to 50% of the population? There it is. I want to read something because we've experienced, Israel over here has experienced the same thing. Okay? Just want to read this here. Because Depo Provera has been used, and Norplant has been used on us. Okay? So I just want to read this. This is just an example of it. Norplant and African American teens. When Norplant was first distributed in 1991-1992, black teenage girls were primary targets. Now we're talking here in the United States. The rate of teenage pregnancy was used as justification to introduce the contraceptives to this population. This was done despite the fact that at the time teenage pregnancy was in overall decline, with the highest rate of decline being among black teenage girls. However, the teenage pregnancy rate in Baltimore was much higher than the national average. This made Baltimore a prime site to introduce the contraceptive. Throughout the city, health providers encouraged African American teens to have the device implanted into their arms. Remember, Norplant is that one that is like the little matchstick sized tubes that they put in your arm to prevent pregnancy. Throughout the city, health providers encouraged African American teens to have the device implanted into their arms. School clinics were also utilized to offer teenage girls Norplant with or without parental consent. One such school, Lawrence G. Parker Middle School, a middle school in Baltimore for pregnant teens or teens that already have children, launched the first pilot program for Norplant implantation. So they actually tested Norplant on these children, black children. We've been guinea pig ever since slavery. They should take black doctors, should take black women and do, read medical apartheid right here at Washington, but take black women and do all kinds of experiments, medical experiments, no anesthesia. That's been our experience. But anyway, one such school, I read that at the time of the pilot program, of the 350 girls who attended the school, 345 were black. Okay? And I go on to talk about how Depo Provera has been often, in the past, used as an option instead of incarceration. Okay? And it's more dangerous in black women. But that's just something to think about. Again, this book, Killing Black Innocence, I bring it from slavery all the way up until now. And what's happening now is we have mass abortions. We have over a third of the abortions, and we're 12 to 14% of the population. We've had, a real conservative estimate since Roe v. Wade. You've had what? Real conservative, what? 12, 13, 14 million abortions. 12 and 14, depending on what numbers you look at. And it's more than that. And that's conservative. But I wanted to read something to you in the scriptures because we know the first commandment was to be fruitful and multiply. You're supposed to be fruitful and multiplying in the confines of marriage. But I want to read something because this is not anything new. Solomon said there's nothing new under the sun. So I just want to read very shortly what happened to us in Egypt. This is Exodus 1 and 7. You know, Joseph, his brothers, their children, Jacob, all their wives, and everybody came into Egypt. And we dwelt in Goshen. Verse 7. And the children of Israel were fruitful and increased abundantly and multiplied and waxed exceeding mighty, and the land was filled with them. Okay? So there we were in Egypt, and you had many of us, and you see the fear just like you see the fear amongst Israelis. Well, not the children of Israel, because Israel is the black people that have been scattered into slavery all over the earth. Okay? So, now there arose up a new king over Egypt who knew not Joseph. And he said unto his people, Behold, the people of the children of Israel are more mighty than we. Come on, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply, and it come to pass, when there falleth out any war, they join also unto our enemies and fight against us, and so get them up out of the land. So here you had that fear that they would populate, that we will populate. Same thing in Israel, same thing in America. That's why you have all these abortion clinics. That's why some will blame poverty. We've been poor a long time. But poverty is no reason for abortion. Abortion is murder, bottom line. Verse 11. Therefore they did set over them taskmasters to afflict them with their burdens, and they built for Pharaoh treasure cities, Pithom and Ramesses. But the more they afflicted them, the more they multiplied and grew. And they were grieved because of the children of Israel. And the Egyptians made the children of Israel to serve with rigor. Okay? And they made their lives bitter with hard bondage in water and in brick. And in manner of service in the field, all their service was where they made them serve was with rigor. So everything, they basically put us in slavery, and everything was with rigor. This is a harsh slavery. Okay? So the king of Egypt, he spoke to the midwives and told them, he said something. He said in verse 16, when you do the office of the midwife to the Hebrew women, meaning when you deliver their babies, and see them upon the stools, if it be a son, then ye shall kill him, but if it be a daughter, then she shall live. Because why kill the male? The male child is always the threat. Black men in society today are always the threat because they carry the seed. They are the ones who are the protector of women. They are the ones who build. They are the ones who fight. They are the warriors. They are the ones who basically the white populace is scared of. I'm not saying every white person, that's not what I'm saying, but as a whole, they are the ones who can reproduce. And you notice On top of all these abortions, on top of all this birth control that our women are taking, on top of that, you had many of our young black males, when they're supposed to be having children at a particular age, are incarcerated. They're in jail. Okay? It says, and the king of Egypt called for the midwives and said unto them, why have ye done this thing and have saved the men children alive? Because they wouldn't do it. They wouldn't kill the babies. And the Lord blessed them for that. Let's go down, because something else happened. And it came to pass, because the midwives feared God, that he made them houses. Okay? Verse 22, and Pharaoh charged all his people, saying, every son that is born ye shall cast into the river, and every daughter ye shall save alive. So, and then you see, that's why Moses ended up in the river. That's what Moses means, drawn from the water. Because his mother was trying to save his life, because they were killing all the male children, just like in the days of Jesus. That's why Moses was a prophet like unto Jesus. But that's a whole other thing. The point is, genocide, which is what that is, and which is what has been perpetuated against us, it's the quiet genocide, though. It's the quiet genocide. We're gonna give you this pill. We're gonna give you this Depo Provera because you need it. You know, and the bottom line is them wanting to circumvent our numbers, to lower our numbers. Some others decide who can live and who can die. You need an abortion. All these things. You know, so that's just something to think about. My heart goes out to brothers and sisters in Israel who are again being exploited and being discriminated against. You know, my one thing I will say: set the example. Don't look for them to be an example. In other words, the true children of Israel should not look to others as far as how they worship and what they believe, because it was not given to others. It was given to the true children of Israel. Peace.